Colleen. Now, since she wanted to start this off as an interactive lunch, I want all of you to raise your hand, and if that video this time is the first time that you ever saw that PSA. Raise your hand. Okay. I remember the first time that I saw that video. I was sitting in an audience very much like this. But before I get into that, let me give you what the screenwriter would call the backstory, my backstory. Now, I didn't always live in Los Angeles. I actually grew up on a pig and chicken farm, and I did some gardening, which I wasn't too great at. But at a young age, I had a dream to work in the entertainment industry. So shortly after college, I decided to drive cross-country solo and go for it. But I realized quite quickly that Hollywood did not get the memo that I was coming. Nor did I prepare for the difficulties of getting any job in the entertainment industry. Even a bartending and waitress job was difficult, especially for a naive, small-town girl without any connections or friends in a city like Los Angeles. Plus, I was running out of money. So quitting was not an option. Ultimately, I had to live out of my car. But I had to believe that I could make it, even if all the odds were stacked up against me. But finally, I received my first break. I landed a job as an assistant at one of the top talent agencies in Hollywood, Innovative Artists, the place that I still work today. And I got a job as a waitress, part-time waitress, but I really suck at waitressing. So I no longer waitress. But luckily for me, I love what I'm doing. And after nearly doing it for 20 years now, I still love doing it. But this is where the director would cut to present day, or in my story, October 4th, 2013. I was at the Variety's Power of Women event in Los Angeles, an event I've attended many times before. And I have to admit that the reason that I really enjoy attending this event is because they would give the best gift bags. The newest, hottest, anti-wrinkle, frizz serums, you name it, it's in there. And you know us women, we love our products. But this year was different. This year, they put something extra special in my gift bag. Something that I could share with my 7-year-old daughter, Ava, my husband, and others. I got the gift of life. Elizabeth Banks was there as one of the honorees in recognition of her work with the American Heart Association, and she showed that video, just a little heart attack. Now, I must admit, normally I wouldn't pay attention to something like this. I would use the darkened room to quickly check my cell phone, return emails, and chat with my table mates. But something about the first few seconds of that video caught my attention. I watched, I laughed, and obviously I learned. Now, I probably had heard 100 times before that heart disease is the #1 killer in women, #1 killer in Americans. After all, I should have. Heart disease runs my family. But for whatever reason, it really stuck with me this time. Maybe because it was an entertaining video, not the norm, snooze fest, informational, statistical video of the reason why I should donate to that charity that day. But cut to 2 months and 2 days later, came December 6th. 2013. The same scene played out for me, but only this time, I played the role of Elizabeth Banks, and it was real. December 6th, 2013 is the day that I should have died. The day started off like any other day, negotiating deals, organizing things, packing for my highly anticipated mommy and daughter New York Broadway vacation. But something happened. Something unexpected. I was on my way to a meeting. I was only in my car for a few minutes, and I felt so strange that instead of getting on our busiest highway, the 405, I turned around and I called my assistant and I said, push the meeting. By the time I reached my house, the symptoms had intensified. So I texted my assistant, my heart is beating so fast, I don't know what is wrong. Cancel my meeting. He replied, oh, that sucks. It doesn't work for me anymore. As it became more and more difficult for me to breathe, I was wondering what was happening. And I could literally hear Elizabeth Begg's voice in my head. Do I look like someone that would be having a heart attack? I can't be. Lucky for me, my doctor's office was close, and I had my 20-year-old stepson, Michael, home to take me immediately to the doctor's office. But by the time I reached the doctor's office, my chest was pounding so hard that I felt like it was going to explode out of my chest. And I couldn't breathe. The doctor immediately called 911. It's very important, 911. She quickly put oxygen on and my heart was beating at 300 times a minute. That's 5 beats per second. I remember holding on to my doctor's hand. And I kept thinking in my head, did I tell my daughter and my husband before I left that I loved them? After all, it started off like any other day. My doctor shouted to the nurse, where's that ambulance? Nurse replied, 2 minutes out. My doctor said, she doesn't have 2 minutes. Just then, the paramedics burst into the room. There was talk of using paddles, medicine. I felt like I was living a real-life episode of the ER. They gave me the medicine to stop my heart, but it didn't work. So there was more talk about using paddles or the medicine. And I remember one of the paramedics saying, we're losing her. Now, I don't remember the ambulance ride or anything after until I woke up later in the hospital and I was wondering where my cell phone was. But when I saw my doctor for the first time, she was holding my hand with tears in her eyes. She told me that when they drove off in the ambulance, she thought that was the last time she was ever going to see me. But now, these are tears of joy, because I'm alive. Well, it turns out that I was born with supraventricular tachycardia with Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome that turned into a life-threatening ventricular tachycardia, aka VTAC. And when my doctor told me that, she said, whatever you do, do not Google it. It is bad. But she also had another name for it. I was a ticking time bomb. A ticking time bomb that was about ready to get on the 405 freeway. She said I needed an operation, and I needed one hell of a surgeon. Good news, she found me. Problem was, he was headed to China. But once he took a look at my case, he pushed a strip and immediately scheduled my surgery. The surgery is called an ablation, which involves something called burns to fix the troubled areas in the heart. The doctor had, which I found out later, that he had only done 5 before, but on me he had to do 10. So no wonder, it nearly took 7 hours. The surgical team, which I do have to say that I had a really hot surgical team, and they did look like Grey's Anatomy. But one thing I realized with all these medical professional people, they get really excited when you talk medical terms. And so one of the surgeons, as he was pulling me out, he was like, "Do you realize you went VTAC on us 9 times? We just put a puff of air in your heart, and it went to 290, 280, 300 beats per minute, 9 times. Now the 10th time, I guess, was a little bit difficult to get me back. And I just said, "Cool, I'm glad I gave you a good show." Later, the surgeon confirmed if he had scheduled the surgery for after his trip to China, I would have been dead. On the first day of my life, with a properly functioning heart, I could actually take a deep breath, like I'm trying to do now. But I did know that I have a lot of people to thank for being alive. The list includes Elizabeth Banks, and everyone connected to that video. The person that came up with the idea, the people that raised the funds to make that video, to give me the awareness to get to my doctor. Because in my business, every part makes a difference. I know I would be dead today if I hadn't seen that video. That video gave me the awareness to get to the hospital, to get the treatment. But it's the money that helped funds the research to make it possible to ultimately save my life. My husband would have had a wife, and my daughter would have had a mother. Now, if I had died, the buzz around Hollywood for a few days might have been, "Did you hear about that agent who died of a heart attack? Crazy, she was so young." And one of my clients just said I was 32, so that's just my fave right now. What a shame. That's it. But I didn't die. See, I'm alive, and I'm determined to start a conversation that lasts a lot longer. I'm on a crusade to get everyone in America talking about heart disease. That's why I'm here today. I'm not here for 10%. I'm here for you. Because I want to give someone their second chance to hit the reset button. The gift that was given to me. Now, somebody asked me what it's like to be a heart survivor. And I've talked to a few heart survivors, and we talk about celebrating our 2nd birthday. See, this year, I celebrated my first 2nd birthday on December 6th. But I got to spend it in New York with my daughter. Because I promised her that when she came to that hospital room and realized she wasn't going on a trip to New York with her mommy, promised her I would get better. And we will take that magical Broadway New York trip. So for my first 2nd birthday, I spent it in New York, and we saw lots of musicals. See, I'm not just alive now, I'm more alive than ever. Not only am I living better, feeling better. See, in that gift bag, I actually did get my own facelift. I feel younger now than when I was 20. There's a sense of optimism that I can't describe. I've not only had a physical transformation, I've had an emotional transformation. The black cloud of heart disease, the black cloud that I didn't even know existed, is no longer raining on me. Now, is that important? I do get a lot more emotional. And I'm trying not to get emotional right now and have my mascara run down my face. My sister says that now that I'm crying and emotional, that she's like, welcome to the land of the living. My sister is also a survivor from the works of the American Heart Association. So after the first time I came out of the heart closet and shared my story, I pushed my sister to go to the doctor to get her heart checked. My sister, who's much younger than I am, physically fit. Said, you need to go and get it checked out. I will. Well, she gets checked out. Good news is, she doesn't have the curse of heart disease. Bad news was, she had breast cancer. First member in our family diagnosed with breast cancer. See, when I was sitting in that audience, just like this audience here, I didn't know that I had the red card. What I should have known that I had the red card. Heart disease runs in my family. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women, #1 killer in Americans. But now I push my sister to go and get her heart checked. She has breast cancer. Because of that awareness video now, she's a survivor. And she thanks the American Heart Association. And she also has a great new set of boobs. So you don't know what DNA cocktail you have. Since heart disease I feel it's not a competition. Sisters help sisters, and we're there for each other. But being a survivor isn't enough. I feel a sense of responsibility, a sense of urgency to make others aware too. At first, the goal was just to save one life and to pay it forward. And it wasn't easy to share my story. Kathy, Susan, you remember that day? I wanted to bolt out of that room. I wanted to hide underneath that table. But also I found out when Kathy was sitting next to me that I knew she probably had a defibrillator or something like that in her purse. Or could go MacGyver on me. But see, there's a stigma about heart disease. You must be doing something wrong. You're not active enough. Well, I think we should get rid of that stigma. Because heart disease is killing Americans. But the real reason I didn't run out of that door is something that I'm going to share with you for the first time today. So before I went into that surgery, I asked my husband to give me a few minutes. And so I quickly on my cell phone, I made a deal, I made a contract between myself. See, I'm an agent, that's what I do. I promised that I would do everything I could in my power and through my connections to let people know about heart disease. So no other mother would have to experience that moment of not being able to tell their child goodbye or that they love them. And that I will be bold, and I will be fearless, and I will have the courage to speak up. Now when I made that deal, I thought that maybe I would have one of my actors do it. I never thought that I would actually be here. But that promise, that contract, led me to you today. I also made a point in my clause in my contract that I would always be on time for staff meetings, but then I did go back and redline that and said best efforts. My husband, who I just shared it with, and he just read the contract, first time a couple days ago, he started to smile. I said, you just read the husband clause, huh? He's like, go red, all right. But see, I'm an agent. A deal is a deal. And what kind of person would I be? What kind of example would I be for my daughter if I didn't do something? And that deal that I made is the best deal I ever made. So we all know now, heart disease is the #1 killer in women, #1 killer in Americans. And it kills more women than all cancers combined. Last year alone, it took around 435,000 women. And since my heart attack, that's close to 1 million women the consumers. Think of how many pairs of shoes. So let's put our business cap on. Let's just look at it from the numbers, business point of view. We're all professionals here. No matter which job we're in or what profession we're in, you take on your toughest opponent first. You tackle your biggest task first. You cast your leads first. And I know you're all fighters here. You're passionate, enthusiastic people. And I believe that positive, enthusiastic, passionate people can achieve anything. So I believe that in this room, taking on the #1 killer of women is exactly the kind of thing that you can take on. The top doctors and scientists are making real progress, and they are winning the fight against the #1 killer. But yet, last year, half the research of the medical profession identified as necessary to continue to fight against heart disease did not get funded. In fact, since 2010, more than half the projects did not receive the necessary grants to continue their work. And these are not projects identified by some bureaucrat, but by the amazing doctors and scientists who have dedicated their whole lives to saving lives. So you've heard my story, so let's tie this all together. 10 years ago, research was done, the techniques were perfected. Then on December 6th, my life was saved. Now, who here plans on still being alive in 10 years or wants to be alive in 10 years? Raise your hand. Okay, I want everyone's hand up. Back there. Okay. Good. So when the AHA asked you today to write a check, that check may be the check that saves your life, or the life of your daughter, your son, your spouse, anyone that you hold dear and love with your whole heart. I'm fortunate that the funding that was needed for research for my particular heart condition was granted. So now, I'm going to take one last minute of your time, just 1 minute. I want you to all close your eyes. And I want you to take the card. I believe I just have it here. The card that's on your table. This one right here. I want everyone to close your eyes. I want you to hold it. And I want you to visualize and really feel in your heart someone that you love. Could be your son, could be your daughter, could be your pet. It could be a big deal that you've been working on for a long time. Think about it. Feel it. Visualize it. Feels good, right? One thing that you love. Amen. Now I want you to open up your eyes, because it's all gone. That's what it feels like to have a heart attack. And in that 1 minute that we just took, some woman just lost everything that she loved. So now together, as a team, let's be bold, let's be fearless, and let's be someone's hero. After all, this is Los Angeles, the city of angels. Let's be someone's angel. Now let's save a life.